Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all the new music that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And of course I get it from different places like my local record store, but I also get it from places like online retail, Amazon, eBay, and more. Different things like that. And for this past week here, I've got 7 things to run through with you. We're going to dive into that in just a minute here. But before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds and a bunch of things here we're going to jump through. We're going to start off with new releases as we always do. I showed some of this in the New Music Now episode where I get it right away. I unbox it as it comes in the mail kind of a thing. And I mentioned that, of course, I hadn't heard a lot of this stuff yet, and I would dive into it and tell you more about it now kind of a thing. So I'm going to do just that. And the first thing up, Sammy, Hagar and the Circle, Crazy Times. Brand new studio album from them. 10 tracks on this thing. First single that I'd heard that came off of this was the self-titled track, Crazy Times. And that song in particular, I have to say, didn't initially grab me at the time. And so I didn't have a lot of high hopes for the album itself. Now, after listening to the album, it is actually the best song that's on the album. Now, what does that mean? And the end of the day is, I don't think that the album itself is that good. It's not a bad album. It just doesn't really stick with me. I put it on and I listen to it. I hear that song. It kind of stands out a little bit. The next song on here, Funky Feng Shui, was a song that they did in lockdown music, but it was like 1.5 minutes. It wasn't the full-length version of it. Here we finally get the full-length version, although I have to say the live in the studio version that they did on lockdown music is even better than this. So, they had a potentially good hit there that they just didn't carry over into this in some way. I don't know what. It just kind of lost a lot of its power, maybe because it wasn't live and it was a studioized version of it. But yeah, in the end of the day, I think that the album could have been a lot more. But the funny thing is I didn't really care for the last album either. So maybe it's this lineup. Maybe it's just these guys are all way up there in their years. I don't know. But I haven't really been into the Circle itself, not through the live album they released, not the last studio album. Certainly not this one. I was really hoping this one would redeem them. As I said, it's not a bad album. It just isn't sticking with me. And I've listened to it 5, 6, or 7 times already. Probably even more by the time this is airing because I really, really want to like it. I love Sammy Hagar. I like the rest of the guys that are in the band, but just not doing it for me. Check it out before you choose to buy it just in case. Next one up is another one that this one I had really high hopes for. The Dead Daisies, Radiance, second album recorded with Glenn Hughes in the lineup. I don't remember if this is 6th, 7th album that it is overall by the band, but yeah, second one it is with Glenn Hughes. And I have to say that the last album was one of my absolute favorite albums. I'm trying to remember now if it was last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago, 2020. Absolutely phenomenal album. Every song on that one was really good. So I had very high hopes about this one. And then this one here fell flat for me. Again, not a bad album. It's just nothing on here really stands out except the single Shine On. In fact, there's a couple songs on here that are a little heavier, a little bit maybe even alternative sounding, not really in the style of what Dead Daisies are. So I do kind of applaud them for trying some new stuff, but just doesn't really come across for me. And so a little bit disappointed. And these 2 releases, which was setting up to make this past week of September 30th, kind of a really major thing. And then none of what really came out grabbed me or did anything and so forth. Now, one that I was super excited about, but didn't really expect it to do a whole lot because I'm not the biggest fan of live albums, as you know, was the Alice Cooper live album, Live from AstroTurf. It's a 2015 reunion concert of the original Alice Cooper band, minus Glenn Buxton. He's passed away, not there. Ryan Roxy filling in for him. We also got Chuck Garrick in here as well, helping out the band. So I don't remember what it is or know exactly why. There is a documentary about this, I just haven't watched it yet, about why they did this reunion and what this live show is for. Later they would release bits and pieces of this stuff as part of Record Store Day. And then when they put out, or Alice Cooper did put out his album Paranormal, they put a few of the live tracks on there. And now we're finally getting the full complete show, plus a Blu-ray of the live performance, and as I mentioned, the documentary. So that's really cool. It is a single disc live show. And again, I didn't expect much from this. I thought they're playing a small little record store or little club or something of that nature. And it was just fantastic. Hearing these songs done their original way, not the way that the newer Alice Cooper band plays them, but the 1970s era way. There's just something about the original Alice Cooper band playing them. The little nuances in it which came through were so good in this. Man, I would love these guys to go out and do a tour and actually hear these songs played the real original way, not the sort of flared up 1980s version, that they were done, that sort of glammed out version of it kind of stuff. If you were on the fence about this thing, it's got great sound. Alice is in fine form. The band sounds great. There's a lot of cool little bonuses and stuff on here. They come out and do an encore they weren't intending to do. They tack on a sound check performance on here. Really, really good stuff. Very, very cool, I have to say. Was really, really excited about that. Now, this one here was one that I was not aware of, and probably would not have planned on picking up. But I did the What's New at the Record Store episode with Anthony at Sound Exchange, saw this and decided to check it out and thought, sounds pretty good, I'll pick it up. Brand new Pixies album. It is called Doggerel, if I'm saying that right. Kind of an odd name, not sure what that means. Probably does mean something. Plain little cardboard packaging, CD slides in the middle, so not a whole lot going on here. Does have cool album artwork. And I have to say, first track, it's got this little spoken word intro thing for about 2 minutes, and then it just kicks in and it's really cool. Once I heard that, I said, you know what, I'm gonna get it. First track is really cool. I love all the remaining songs on here. I'm having a total resurgence in my love for Pixies. I was never a huge fan of them back in the day, but I mean, these guys, Frank Black, Kim Deal's no longer with them, but she was part of the lineup, made some really cool headway back in the late 80s, early 90s when they first came out and stuff. And, this is really cool. I'm going to be going back and picking up the rest of the reunion era stuff, which I don't have. So, surprise release for me ended up being the Pixies and not the two things that I thought it was. Kind of found that interesting, but sometimes that's the way that it is. Maybe those first two releases will do something for me down the road. So again, while at Sound Exchange, picking this guy up, filming some episodes there with Anthony, I found something that was super, super, super cool. I really wanted to show it to you when I filmed the New Music Now episode, but I decided to go with the stuff that just came in the mail and held this one back for today. U2 Medium Rare Remastered. It's a 2 CD package. 2 separate discs, 2 separate sleeves. You get a poster in here. In fact, I'll even open up the poster for you guys. There you go. A little bit bigger picture of the album cover. Nothing on the back side. It's all black ink. It's like if you're going to spend the money to make this plain black, why not put something on it? But sometimes you get that from these guys. So here's the thing. If you're saying, what the heck is that? I've never heard of that before. This is a fan club only release through their fan club propaganda. So not available for sale. If you were signed up for the fan club at the time and you paid for the membership, which I don't know what it was at the time of this. Today the membership is $50. And if you sign up for it, you get something like this free. And it's rare exclusive tracks, it's outtakes from all these different periods in the band, going back to Rattle and Hum, Joshua Tree, All That You Can't Leave Behind, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. Lots and lots of cool outtakes, B-sides, some remastered stuff from those albums. Very, very cool. I was super excited to find it. I had a burned copy of that, but had not been able to find a good one. Just too expensive to buy on eBay and stuff like that. And there it was in Sound Exchange for $9.98, double album. Very rare thing like that. So, you know, got this guy on here that's always complaining about the prices at Sound Exchange. Take that, my man. $9.98 for a very rare, something you can't buy in the stores, a double album by U2. That's why I go to Sound Exchange. All right, enough of my rant. Another thing that I found that was pretty cool, I've been getting into a lot more new wave stuff and branching out and finding things in there. And one of the bands that was new for me, at least, and I know some of you guys said, hey, I can't believe you've never gotten into this band or whatever kind of a thing, but man, I've got 11,000 CDs and stuff. I can't possibly own it all. And this was just one of those bands. Ultravox, The Island Year. So first 3 studio albums plus a rarities disc in a cool clamshell style box like that with a booklet. It's got a lot of great stuff on it. It's in conjunction with Caroline Records and Island Records putting this thing out. But I love these little box sets that do that. They have the discs themselves in original cardboard sleeves. Yes, I prefer them in the jewel cases, but you know, I at least would rather get them in the individual sleeves like this than to get them as like 2-on-1 disc or something like that. So very, very cool to get this, and I've been digging, checking this out in the early 1977 era going forward. Ultravox is a little different than the album that I had bought from them. There was much more of the 80s sound, so it's kind of cool to check this out, what they were doing, and then get into that. I'm definitely going to be checking out some more Ultravox and stuff. And to finish things off here, Long Gone Day, the 6th. If you guys saw me do the episode with Anthony, this is Anthony's band. He is the frontman and guitarist for this band. So vocals, guitar by Anthony. It's got 7 tracks on it. He calls it an album. It's an EP in my opinion. But yeah, they just put this out. It was recorded, I want to say back in 2016 before the band broke up, but it never got released. The band has reformed and played a one-off show at Dingbats, actually just happening this past weekend, and put this out as part of that thing, kind of a celebration, newly remastered by Steve Brown of Trickster. Anthony's good friends with Steve Brown of Trickster, so that's how that got finagled there. Great stuff. If you like Anthony and you like the bands that he's been recommending and stuff like that, you're probably going to really dig it. Straight up rock and roll, just done Anthony style, along the lines of the alternative and punk bands that he talks a lot about and stuff like that. But that's my copy of it there, and rounds things out. 7 things for me. So I had a pretty good week this past week with special finds, new releases, that thing there from Anthony, catalog stuff from like Ultravox and so forth. So hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Consider sharing this out on social media. Help spread the word both for my channel, but also, getting the word out on these kind of things like this. It always helps people, give them some ideas about what to go out and get themselves. So, all right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.